I didn't get the video that I said I would out today, so I decided, why am I gonna cry? What the heck? Hi everyone, today's video is not going to be the same as usual, not as formal. I just actually wanted to sit down and talk to you guys and open up about something because I feel like if you're here and you're at my channel and you want to know who I am, like me and my sewing and all this fun stuff, that you should also just know that I'm human. All of the projects that I've come out with, a lot of times I'm repurposing, and it's been quite the struggle, but I have this determination and I want my story to like inspire people that no matter what obstacles you face, no matter how hard it can be, that you are fully capable. So I wanted to like sit down and talk about this because it really bothered me that I didn't get the video that I said I would out today. So I decided, why am I gonna cry? What the heck? I decided to at least just like sit down and really just truly pour my heart out. And you know, this is probably not gonna be one of my most popular videos, obviously, by any means, but I have been struggling and I wanted to open up about this because it affects my work in so many different ways. And there's so many different voices that like want to give their input out there. And so it can be really terrifying to share with someone what's really been going on. But to be honest, this is probably one of my biggest struggles. I have quite a few struggles, but this is one of the biggest ones. And it has everything to do with self-image. I have had some pretty bad self-image times of my life. Not very confident a lot of the times in the way I look or feel. However, when I was younger, I loved dressing up and I loved taking self-portraits, and I have this history of a time frame in my life where I would get in front of the camera and just have a grand old time. But little did many people know that behind the scenes I was going through rejection. I really wanted to be married someday. I really wanted to have a relationship, but I was falling for someone, you know, who was not interested in me. And I spent so many years just crying about that while trying to also pretend like, you know, woo, look at me, I'm doing all these fun things. But in reality, like, I was crying almost every single day because the person that I really wanted to be with didn't want to be with me. And that happened twice in a row, 2 different people over a span of about 8 or 9 years before I ended up finally just, you know, I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do, try to pursue like a business. Anyway, then I met my now husband and now I'm married, and that's like not a problem in my life anymore. I don't think about those things. However, ever since then, my body has changed so much. And because I grew up very thin and I pretty much just didn't even change weight until after 21, when a doctor put me on birth control, and I'm like 100% convinced that that birth control really ruined my hormones, and that's another story. However, throughout that time in my life, that adjustment to like my body being different and acting different, I started to like find happiness in food. And when I go back and I think, like, when I really shoot back in time, I just think about how like it always felt like I was being rejected and I was like losing friends to just the randomest things. It just felt like food could just make me happy, and it didn't do anything else except like make me happy. Like, it didn't leave me, you know. And I remember just noticing that I was gaining weight, and it didn't feel good because it felt like it was just around my midriff area. That's where it starts if it's diet related. I was not sure if I, you know, could tell anyone, because the very little tiny amount of times that I did, I would just, you know, get kind of looked at like, are you crazy? Like, you're so skinny, you're so small. And like, yes, I was a size small, but I just, because of their reactions, I decided to not say anything because I'm crazy if I say anything. And I did nothing. I continued to eat how I was eating. I continued my addiction to soda, which was like my top addiction, I would say, and chocolate, cake and soda, and ice cream. Oh my gosh, there's a lot. So I continued that throughout college. Now, I went to college at 22/23 years old. And when I first got to college, about 2 weeks in, I found out my dad died. And so my college experience was this mixture of like grief and trying to figure out who the heck I am without my dad.
This is a real American dad.
It's gonna be on Facebook.
Of course.
Like
YouTube.
that.
Yeah. YouTube.
And like, my dad had eating problems. He was obese when he died, and my dad had like a problem with food too. And so for a while I started to become afraid. Every time I went to the doctor's office for whatever random thing it was, whether I was sick or whether I needed to go figure out my birth control pills, I was put on that for my acne, by the way. Like, I was 21 and I, no relationship, no actual like birth control need. It was literally doctors like, this will take your acne away, it'll regulate your periods, like magic pill, go and take it. And as a 21-year-old unaware, I was like, oh wow, I'd love my acne to go away. Like, irregular periods didn't concern me, but the acne was like, that's all about my image. Anyway, I would go to the doctors a lot in college for random little things. I started to ask them, like, my dad died of a blood clot, and I remember getting really afraid that I was gonna have blood issues, and I started to get this anxiety that, like, what if something's wrong with my blood? I would get a lot of migraines. My dad got a lot of migraines, and I just started to get really concerned about all of this. I don't know if I had migraines before birth control though, and I feel like I didn't. I just started to like slowly gain weight over time. And then in 2018, at this point, I had already been done with college. I had moved out of state, and I was already like, with my now husband. We were living together and kind of had a different life at this point. And I started to open up about my weight. I wanted to talk about my weight gain, and I wanted to talk about my body image, and also to talk about how comments can affect someone, and why I believe that it doesn't matter what weight you are, but how you take care of yourself. And at the time, I had gone up about 30 pounds, and it like really affected me because I started to feel really lazy, and I started to worry about my blood pressure and stuff like that would lead to bad health. And anyway, I ended up gaining another 20 pounds after I came to realize, oh no, I'm gaining weight. And then I wanted to like try to get healthy and work out, and then that stressed me out, and then life stressed me out, and then money problems stressed me out, and I ended up gaining like 20 pounds within a year, if not less than a year. And when I look back at that time, like, it saddens me because I continued to go for food to get through all of my stressful times. I was addicted to the dopamine I got from my soda, from my cake, from, anything sugary and highly processed. And I became like a victim, almost like a slave to this food that I have to buy it and I have to have it. It turned into Taco Bell and Burger King and just anything that was convenient and easy. My husband and I would just kind of do this together. We'd gain together, and then it'd be like, and then in 2020 was the first time in my life that I finally felt like I could get a hold of my weight gain. And I just thought, I have to fix this. At this point, I was at my highest weight I had ever been, and I knew that I had to do something about it. Let's hope that every time I update, I'm looking and feeling better. This is my body today. It's at 29. Oh my gosh, I made it. Here are my results. I weigh 145.6 today. Looks like I'm at 28 and a half. all of that effort I put into it, I ended up having so much more energy. I felt better, and I was able to clean up the house more often. And I remember just feeling so inspired to just do my very best. And although I wasn't sewing or anything at the time, I remember this was just a huge part of my journey because it's what led me to wanting to become a mother. Every time I wanted to get the camera, like I said, I used to do self-portraits and dress up. I did it less and less over the years, and so every time I would grab my camera and I would think, okay, I'm going to dress up and I'm going to take pictures, over time I would look through the pictures and I'm like, oh no, I don't like that. Oh no, I don't like that. I started to see like my image change completely. And I feel like the world around you wants to tell you like, it's not about what you look like and you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. But I think that my weight was a symbol of the bad stuff in my life. And I think having the constant reminder every time I looked in the mirror was making me fully aware that like I need to change the decisions I make because this is actually going to hurt me. And if I don't do anything about it, it will get worse. And I think that's what people failed to realize when you tell someone like, hey, no, you don't look ugly. Hey, no, you look great. And you ignore like what they're truly saying. If someone looks at themselves and they don't like what they see, that means there's something mentally going on. And a part of that mentality might even be that they're aware of their bad habits. It could be that, oh, I'm gaining weight because I'm eating like this and I know that I am and now I feel bad and now I don't like how I look. Anyway, I feel like that's why I became terrified to tell people, because I'm just going to get the cliche answer and I don't want answers. I just wanted to change. And so I've been dealing with this off and on, and even though in 2020 I like took control again of my body, I started to do yoga, intermittent fasting, all kinds of different things that I started to learn about, and I was like eating better foods. I would have a lot of nutrients in like my, lunch meal. I would have like just a nutrient dense smoothie. I remember just eating these like almost all the time. And then for dinner I would make like a giant big healthy dinner for me and my husband, and I just continued on that path. I was drinking water all the time and apple cider vinegar, you name it. Like I was taking it so seriously. I started to have more energy. I was able to regulate my hormones a little bit more because before they were not at all. This time I was getting like a cycle that was a little bit more consistent, was showing up more often. I was dropping pounds. I was feeling better about my body. I was feeling more confident. And even though I wasn't near my goal, in fact, I just made it to my old original, I gained weight in 2018. It's funny that I gained 20 pounds and I was able to lose that 20 pounds, end up right back at the spot that previously made me freak out. And it just like the different mindset of like, but now I'm on a better path. Now I'm fueling myself. Now I'm helping myself. And what made me most aware of it, and trust me, this does tie into dressmaking, what made me most aware of it was that I didn't want to be in pictures, the way that I would have done it. I didn't want to, because every time I tried on a dress that I found, it wouldn't fit. And so, it's like, yes, I could try to find dresses my size, but my point is that everything that I ever owned beforehand for my photo shoots didn't fit me. And to have to, realize like something happened in my life that isn't actually good. Like I didn't gain weight in a healthy way at all but like whatsoever. I did not. It was not healthy at all. And I had too many people who wanted to just shut down that conversation and basically paint me as you're crazy for so many years that I just learned how to shut down and then just like don't say anything. And then in 2020 I was like, you know what, I'm gonna first lose some weight, I'm gonna feel good, and I'm not gonna care what people think. So I started posting my results. Now I would get like people saying, oh my gosh, you inspire me, you're like so awesome, and that made me feel good because it's like, oh, I'd love to inspire people to like choose better. I think if you're living healthy, you have a healthy mindset and a healthy body, it's a double whammy. Now not only can you look at yourself and think, oh yeah, I'm feeling great, but you also know you're doing great. So there's no like underlining guilt of like, yeah, I just want to love my body positivity, woohoo. But secretly you know that, pigging out on cookies at night is probably not a good idea to do like every night, Like there's still a guilt in you that's just like, well, I'm not that happy with what I'm doing. I just want to pretend like I am. And I didn't want to pretend. So now when it comes to dressmaking, and that's where we are today here, hello, hi, I become really aware of my body, and it changes so much because I have gone through these phases where I will just turn to food and I will not want to go sew. I will not want to go do anything. I'll do the bare minimum with my son, and I'll find myself in this really lazy mentality. And I noticed that every time that's happening, every time I get to that low point, I had just went right back to the bad foods, the foods that are highly processed, and I'm putting this crap in my body, and my body is like, I don't know what to do with this. This is, I guess I'll just store this away. And then I end up feeling extra heavy, bloated, not very good. Clothing, like it, affects, like right now I feel like I can't breathe because my pants are like digging into me as I sit here. Or I'll put on a shirt and suddenly it doesn't fit. And I think that these things affect us, but also we become aware that like a high fat percentage on a body, no matter how it looks on each person, it doesn't matter whether it looks good or not, a high body fat percentage can have bad negative effects on your body. It's just proven. It can, depending on what it is. Like, it's not, recommended to allow your body to have a high body fat percentage. So I started to look into like calculating. I did a few different methods. It's interesting because I wouldn't look at myself and think, oh, she's obese. I have like my idea of obesity, but I did notice that like at my higher weight and when I'm just extra lazy eating ultra processed foods, I take all the different calculations, the different whatnots to estimate the potential of my body fat percentage, and it's always going up to the borderline 32%, which if anyone who may not know, 32% and above is technically considered obese. So to be at that, like even though it's not 100% accurate, I may or may not, you know what I mean? But just knowing that it is around that possibly just really would wake me up and make me think like I need to get this under control, because I have gone up 50 pounds since before birth control, and that's a lot to put on the joints. I started noticing I was getting pain. For a while, I think it was kind of like my ankles or my feet. And then eventually, like right now, lately, I've been getting it on one of my legs. And sometimes when I walk, I feel so heavy when I walk. It's just like, oh, this is tiring. And it's really affecting my health in so many different ways that I feel like I'm trying to catch it before it's like really bad. Some people, they let it get really bad before they do something about it. I could have stopped this a long time ago when I noticed it was happening. I could have avoided this had I had the support from people around me saying like, hey, like they could have tried to like figure it out with me and been supportive to say like, if it's waking from like a really bad diet, I notice you have a lot of soda, this could have bad long-term effects, like you should really think about it now. Nobody did that for me. Nobody. So I continued on this path of drinking soda every single day, which is really, really bad for you, having my cake and just cookies, Taco Bell, mainly a lot of Taco Bell, a lot of chocolate cake, having that whenever I wanted and almost all the time to get me through like so many different moments in my life. The habit it stayed. And I would have these moments, even on YouTube, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to get rid of sugar. And I would for like 30 days or so. And then I would be right back at it. And then there were times, not even going to lie, like on my old channel, I remember I edited out the parts that showed the soda in the background because I felt so guilty about it that I went back to it after I already said I wouldn't. And I started to just feel this like I'm not living my best life and I feel disgusting. So today I wanted to have a video out and I didn't get to do that, but I will say when I tried on the dress that I made, I think the dress actually came out pretty good considering how many mistakes I came across during the making of the dress that I explained I would be making for my music video. And I thought the dress ultimately looked beautiful. And despite how beautiful it looked, I felt gross in it. But I was like, it's fine, I'm still gonna do the video. So it didn't stop me from doing what I wanted to do, but to know that like I just felt, it just, every time I try on a dress, make a dress, take my measurements, everything, it's forcing me, everything I'm doing here on YouTube is forcing me to be like 100% aware of my body and my health and my state of mind. And because of that, it has affected me in so many negative ways that I find myself struggling to stay focused. I find myself getting bummed out that I'm not doing the things that I wanted to do, and it has really affected me. I try to pretend like, everything's great so many times in my videos, intros, you name it. I just pretend like these things don't bother me, that I'm like, yeah, no, cool, I'm chill, like, yes. Or like, oh, my body ever changing. Like, I remember making a comment like that. But you know what? Our bodies are ever changing, so mine especially. I just didn't want someone to hear any negative comment and then, paint me as, you shouldn't think that way and you're crazy. And I feel like it's so important for us to be honest with ourselves, because being honest doesn't necessarily mean you're self-sabotaging yourself. We're probably doing that anyway, but in this case, like, being aware of the health of your body and how you look and how much fat is on your body is a symbol. How else is your body going to tell you what's happening unless it gives you warning? So acne is a warning that something's going on. I learned about like a puffy armpit is a warning about toxins building up in the pores and in your body from whatever you're eating, maybe putting on your skin and all of that stuff. And I was getting that problem. I got like a dark patch on my armpit before that was super, super itchy. It started off red and then eventually just turned like this dark, I don't know, it was weird. So I have this patch on my armpit that I don't even know what that was. But then, you hear things like how many people in this country are overweight or obese or have pre-diabetes or diabetes, and you know that like a lot of people are at risk for it with the standard American diet. And I fall perfectly into the category of someone who eats a standard American diet. I don't have any restrictions. I don't stick to my healthy plans. I usually go right back to my old ways. Like, this has just been a reoccurring thing for me. It's so hard to get off of something when that something is the most convenient thing you could be buying and eating today. Like, that's what's such a bummer. I think that when we're aware of it and we want to choose better, it matters. And something that really matters to me is, and what bothers me a lot, is the fact that I lack so much energy to be the mom that I want to be to my son. He's almost 3 years old, so he's still really small and requires a lot of attention, and he needs a lot of help. And like everything that he does, he's gonna need help. I've hit a lot of low points, but one of the lowest I hit was when my sleep was really bad, and I talked to you guys about changing it, which I've successfully done. I'm so glad. I remember during the time that it was really bad, my son wanted me to get off the couch. Normally he says, go sit on the couch, because that's what you do, Mom. Like, he's just like, go sit on the couch. I want you to go sit on the couch. He'll tell me. I'm like, what? But I remember one time he was crying, and I was like, no, I was so tired on the couch. Like, go watch your tablet. Like, go play with your toys. Go get your letters. Like, I just tried everything to just get him to go do his own thing, because I was so exhausted. I didn't want to get off the couch. And I'd been in bed all night, and then on the couch, and then I napped. Like, I hadn't even walked around much at all that entire day. And this is, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. And he's just like, Mama, go in the kitchen, get up, get out. And I was like, no, baby, I don't want to do that. You go, okay, please go. And he starts crying, and I was so exhausted. I was like, go. I'm not going to get up. And I remember while that was happening, and I thought to myself, I can't live like this. Like, I can't. I'm eating really crappy junk I'm putting in my body, and I'm feeling it all around the area that my body's warning me, hey, you're giving me too much of this crap. I can't keep up with this. This is too much. It's making me sluggish, unmotivated, highly stressed. I just know that like I have to change this. So today I debated doing a live video, and then I just thought to myself, I don't really want to get dressed, fix my hair and do my makeup and like get on the live video. I don't know what I'm gonna do. My room is messy. You can kind of tell it's a little bit destroyed from the project. Like, I just couldn't get myself to want to do anything. In fact, I resulted to this video because I thought, well, I guess if I'm going through this a little bit of a difficult time, maybe my story can help someone else feel less alone. This is kind of a long video, and I'm gonna hopefully speed this up now and start to conclude. And a lot of the stuff that I make, it reminds me how bloated I can get, how just sick I can feel after just like binging out on something. If I do, I struggle a lot, but I do try to think of the positive things that I've actually accomplished. And even though sometimes I'll accomplish it for a while and then I'll go right back to the old ways, I still remind myself how I'm capable, and if I just keep practicing, it'll extend even longer. And something that I am proud to say is I have not had soda, sugary soda. I've had sparkling water, but I have not had caloric sugary soda since June 9th. And I keep reminding myself, this is the first time, Stephanie, that you have gone that long without Pepsi. And you're doing it. And it's becoming normal. And you're successful now. You can consider yourself successfully have faded out soda. It's not a part of your daily life. And if you continue doing this, it'll continue to be a normal thing to just not have soda. My primary drink of choice is water. On some rare occasions, I make this Stephanie's mocktail, as I tell my husband. And it's mainly plain sparkling water with a little bit of pomegranate juice and some lemon. Just a little bit, maybe like 1/5 max of juice, maybe less than that. Honestly, just depends. But otherwise, I mean, it's rare that I do that. For the most part, I just drink water. My struggle has been in the food department, though. I have given back into like convenient foods, easy foods, takeout, all this stuff. But I have avoided major fast food restaurants such as Taco Bell. I haven't gone back in a really long time. Burger King, no. McDonald's, no. Wendy's, like, you know, just these bigger ones. I've just done like Mexican restaurants and on some occasion Panda Express as a guilty pleasure. My diet has slowly become unhealthy all over again, but I keep going back to this mentality of I want to be a better mom. And honestly, not gonna lie, I just want to feel good in my dresses. I don't do anything with my muscles. I feel really weak because of that. And if I can just gain some strength and muscles and allow my body to have that, I'm going to be so much better off than having a high percentage of fat and yet very little muscle. It's so important to work on our muscles, to work on not only our physical health, but our mental health. But I feel like fixing our physical health actually directly affects our mental health. And you could argue that you could do it the other way around, but that hasn't been working for me. So I'm at a new place where I'm like, you know what? I need to work on my physical health, because I think that's going to just naturally help my mental health, because I'm physically getting active, I'm working on my muscles, and I'm reducing how much fat my body is trying to keep up with right now, how much it's trying to store on my body. I'm overwhelming probably my digestive system by just giving it so much to work with whenever I, have an episode of just randomly wanting ice cream or some bigger meal or whatever. And I think it's so important for me. I just wanted to share with you guys that this is the reality of my life. It's not about how I look to others. I don't care. I don't care what other people think. I really don't. I work so hard to not care about what other people think, so I don't really want to ruin that part of me. If I tell someone, it's all about how I feel, not about how I look. So telling someone and then getting a comment or someone responding like, you look great and stuff, kind of like assumes that I was concerned about what other people think, and I'm not. I don't care if you think I'm ugly, pretty, or nothing. I don't care. But I do care about what I think, and I do want to feel good about myself, and I want to feel comfortable in the dresses that I make, and I want to feel confident. And I also honestly just miss how I used to feel, and I would love to become that Stephanie, but like the 2.0 version, which is why this channel, I have continued the Stephanie 2.0 in my logo, title, frame, whatever you want to call it. I was just going to take it out. I was just going to be there for the beginning, but I have now just left it in because I feel like it's a reminder every time I make a video that 2.0 comes driving into the picture, and I feel like that is my reminder that like I'm working on Stephanie Ann Harford 2.0, and it's so important that I build her into the ideal version of myself. Someone who's motivated, confident, feels good about herself, doesn't give up, is the mom that she wants to be, is loving to others, is giving to others, inspirational, and just spreads the love in all that I do, however I can. That's who I want Stephanie 2.0 to be. And on this channel, I want to be able to share all my fun projects and my sewing projects, everything. I want to be able to also be a positive influence to people who come over to my channel and they follow me and they watch along, that they know you can trust my channel. I'm not gonna just suddenly like say mean things to anyone. I know someone pointed out a word that I used in a video, and it's just a word that I grew up with, never thought twice about, made me aware of it, and I just thought, okay, I'm gonna work really hard not to say that word again. I am not trying to say I'm gonna like bend everyone's, rules. Like, I'm still me and I'm still gonna stick to my morals, but I want to respect people, allow everyone to feel comfortable and happy to be here. For the most part, you're not really gonna get videos like this, but you'll see me living my best life here, making dresses, and I want you guys to be able to hear my story out, because you'll hear it in any songs that I will come out with, such as the video that I was supposed to have today, but it is now going to be on next Tuesday. So I'm going to be filming it this weekend on Sunday. Now that the dress is done and it's good to go, I figured, well, now I have more time to make sure this music video is well thought out, because I won't be sewing the day of like I was sewing on Sunday. That song is going to be sharing a really personal part from me, and I also have another song that shares kind of this topic. That one will be coming out eventually. Sharing my story and who I am is my biggest dream, that when people come to my channel, that they'll also become inspired along the way with the stories that I have to share. I hope that my story now today gives you a little bit more of a background of who I am, what I deal with, but despite my circumstances, I'm still trying. I'm not giving up. I'm still trying to figure out ways to get myself to be more active, to eat better. Trust me, I've watched a ton of videos on health, and I continue to do that to this day. Anytime I go through this, I always try to just teach myself more. It's like, I know stuff, but I'll still do something I know is not good. Like, I'll still pick it out on ice cream and be like, why did I do that? It's gonna take some time, but I think with enough practice, I will hopefully get to a point where I'm living the life that I dreamed of living, with a diet that is good for me, with energy levels that I've never seen before, because I would really love that in my life. And then I'll be trying on dresses and making dresses, and not just being reminded every single time how unhappy I feel, how uncomfortable I feel. A lot of times it's why I didn't want to get on camera, I didn't want to make a video. I myself didn't want to see it. I didn't even want to record it. I was like, I don't want to remember this. I don't want to remember how bad I felt, how nasty I felt. And then other times I'm like, okay, I'm changing. I got this. Who cares what I look like right now, because it's not going to stay. And then I'll be on the camera like, no problem. But I'm so back and forth. But I hope that looking back maybe a year from now, I will see myself and realize like, wow, I finally did it. I finally changed myself. That is exactly what I hope. That maybe I'll look back on this a year from today. Just think, Stephanie, you did it. You did it. But join along on my journey if you haven't already. There's a lot of dressmaking planned and ideas. And if I can really work on my health, mental and physical health, I truly feel like I'm gonna start busting out with my dream projects way more often than not. And that would be really exciting if I can just find that energy. But anyway, I've talked enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. Those who have subscribed and have been watching my videos or commenting, I see you. I appreciate you. I try to comment back as often as I can. And I'm really, really thankful that you guys have chosen to come to my channel and watch my videos, and I hope that you continue to enjoy them. And if you haven't seen all my videos, go check it out. I got quite a few now. If you came from the old channel, that's awesome that you're still here, and I'm super thankful for you guys. But without further ado, let's get to the... No, I'm just kidding. There's not much else to say, so I hope to start a project this week. If you got this far in the video, leave me a comment about some projects that you feel I would do great at, that you'd be excited to see. You never know when it's going to inspire me to consider something else. I might just get really excited about it. I love you guys. We'll see what comes next. I don't even know, but I do know the music video. Fingers crossed! We will shoot it this weekend, and I will edit it on Monday, and I will be able to release it on Tuesday. My hopes and my dreams. Okay guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye!